Chapter 1, Self-Control Starts with You. How you think about yourself and others, how you handle your emotions, and whether or not you study for your midterms all hinge upon your ability to practice self-control. In this unit of the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program, you will learn that self-control is one of the many traits that help to build positive character. It plays a major role in how we treat ourselves, interact, accomplish goals, and function within society. If you have ever witnessed a toddler having a tantrum, then you are aware of how a lack of self-control can be demonstrated. This toddler has not yet learned how to deal with his feelings of disappointment and frustration. So he resorts to throwing himself on the floor, screaming, kicking, and crying. As people mature and grow, they generally move past the stage of kicking and screaming if their needs are not met. However, unless people learn how to control their thoughts and manage their feelings, they will display a lack of self-control in many other ways. For example, disrespect, violence, aggression, premarital sex, drug and substance abuse are all ways in which individuals display a lack of self-control towards themselves and others. In this first chapter, you will learn what self-control is and why it is an important trait for everyone to acquire and practice on a consistent basis. You will also learn that developing self-control begins with controlling your thoughts and making choices that are positive and moral. Self-control is the most important character trait you can develop because it applies to all aspects of your life and is the foundation of a positive character. The question of the day, what is self-control? Self-control is controlling, that is, guiding or directing what you think because thoughts lead to feelings. Controlling what you feel because feelings lead to actions. Controlling how you behave because decisions lead to actions which lead to rewards or consequences. Self-control is the foundation of moral behavior. When you practice self-control, you stop and carefully consider whether your thoughts and feelings will lead to actions that are morally correct and in your best interest. Rewind and review. Learning to develop and practice self-control on a consistent basis and in all situations is a long-term process. The first step in understanding self-control is to explore how it relates to morality. In the unit on character, you learned about morality and how to develop a positive moral character. Morals are rules that help us behave in ways that are appropriate, caring, and thoughtful of others and ourselves. They are universal in that most people, regardless of nationality or ethnicity, agree with and uphold them. Moral values define your character and your ability to control yourself. A person with moral values distinguishes between right and wrong and makes choices that will cause no harm to himself or others. Immoral values, on the other hand, lead to inappropriate behavior that is disrespectful, inconsiderate, and even dangerous. One having immoral values tends to develop enemies, crime, violence, and abuse all stem from immoral values. The following is a review of what it means to be a person with a high moral character regarding people, property, and the environment. People need people who have high moral character. When your decisions and your interactions with others always reflects the use of true moral values, you accept and appreciate that everyone has the right to live in peace, safety, and security. You can demonstrate a moral attitude by being respectful to all people. This means not taking advantage of others, but showing them compassion and consideration. Immoral values reflected in your decisions and interactions with others result in behavior that belittle and hurt both emotionally and physically. Name-calling, teasing, bullying, and discriminating can cause others to feel inferior. Verbally or physically hurting yourself or others, or even just displaying an aggressive or violent attitude are sure signs of a lack of self-control. Did you know that, in addition to displaying an immoral attitude towards others, individuals could also display the same attitude towards themselves? Choices that involve risk-taking behavior, such as premarital sex and drug and alcohol abuse, are examples of ways in which millions of people devalue their own lives. This behavior is the leading cause of sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, degeneration of the mind and health, all of which can lead to death. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. A moral attitude regarding property means to respect the possessions of others. Everyone owns things and has the right to use them without fear of their belongings being stolen or damaged. To demonstrate a moral attitude towards the possessions of others, you must refrain from touching or taking someone's belongings without their permission. Not asking the owner his permission before taking or touching his belongings is called stealing. This leads to serious consequences, as you will explore later in this unit. Morality regarding property also means not damaging or destroying someone's property, as in the case of vandalism or graffiti. This is also a form of stealing. Damaging or destroying property of others deprives them of the right to use their belongings. Handle with care. Moral principles can also be applied to the environment and how we care for it. We need air, water, plants, and animals to survive, and all of these things make up our environment. When we do our part to care for our environment by not polluting the earth with litter or using harsh man-made chemicals that contaminate our land, water, and atmosphere, we are demonstrating regard for all life. Okay, one more question. Why do I need to have self-control? When you can control your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you will make choices that will not cause harm to yourself or others. The bottom line is you cannot do just anything you want to do. You must always have control over what you're thinking and feeling so that your words and actions will be appropriate. In fact, not only do you need to have self-control, but everyone needs to have self-control as well. When was the last time you watched the news or read the newspaper? Have you noticed how many reports of murder, child molestation, domestic violence, assault, physically abusing someone, and thefts are reported daily? When even a few people within our society lack self-control, the results are crime, fear, anxiety, and hatred. Stop and think. What are other ways a lack of self-control affects society today? Each person is obligated to consider how their actions affect others. The real test of self-control is what you do when no one is looking.